start the meeting if everybody's all right with that. I think everybody else is coming.
If you start a meeting, Cal, can I clarify a few points for people who haven't come? I don't read Facebook, but I've heard people saying it's illegal. I just want to clear that up. First of all, this was done 15 years ago. We've done nothing different. This is exactly the same as any other working groups that we've had in the village. They are only working groups. They don't go by the parish council's standards. So if you or I call a meeting, as long as the majority say, yeah, we're for it, or, you know, but that's how it is. It doesn't have to be a majority. If you call a meeting, then as long as it's within reasonable, you don't have to put an agenda out, but it'd be nice if you did, and the minutes don't have to be put up either. That's how it's been for 15 years, and it's no different now. We have another group at the moment, which is the play park group. This is just a working group like that is, because if it was a proper committee, then you wouldn't be able to have parishioners on it. Just want to make that clear. You wouldn't be able to have parishioners on a proper committee. It has to be parish councillors. Check with Judith. I've had this conversation with her.
The CCP does have terms of reference as a parish council committee.
It's not a parish council committee. It's a working group. Working group. Judith did say that she asked me, she phoned me this week, she says, is it a parish council committee? And I said, it's never been a parish council meeting. You can ask the current chair when she's available. She also mentioned that the only time parishioners can't vote on anything is if it's got any monetary value. So only the parish councillors on the committee then would be able to vote.
I think you need to check the terms of reference on this.
Okay. But that's how I understand it. Yeah. But I have seen a lot of, I've been told about a lot of stuff on Facebook, but a lot of it's not true. I've seen things where the chairman's been sacked from the football club, which is a lie. That's on record, it's a lie because it never happened. There's other things that have happened as well, which the person's not here, so it'd be unfair if I told him in front of his face. I'll wait till I see him, make it official. But it's not new. It's happened before, so we know that. It's quite regular.
This is a constituted committee, parish council. Parish councillors onto it.
No, if you have a look, there's got to be for this working group. There had to be a certain amount of parish councillors on it, but they don't tell. They don't say who's on it. Yeah, but there is 5 on it.
They normally have a split 6-6. That's how they done it originally.
It was.
At the moment it's 10-2.
Pardon?
At the moment it's 10 parish councillors to 6 members.
But now it's unlimited. It might change. Parish council comes up here. Anyway, I've said my piece.
Yeah.
Quite happy with that. Yeah. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Stuart. Apologies for absence for tonight. So I've had apologies from Steve Edwards, he's away on business. I've had an apology from Dave Hutton from Bolstar, they've got a game tonight, I think Mally's playing.
Yes.
And also had apologies from Ben Hales, they have a football match. And I think you spoke to him as well, Kevin, didn't you?
Yeah, he did say he had an away match, so...
Yeah, so they had a away match, so they won't be attending. I haven't heard anything else from anybody else. So to approve the minutes held on 22nd of August 2021 as a true record. I'll send the minutes that Rob Carney done from the 27th. The only thing that I've got a problem with is the fact that Mr. Birchall stated that he had in his possession some documents from the Football Foundation and Sports England. I just want to clarify that he had no information from the Football Foundation because there never has been any. The only thing he had was from Sports England.
Cal, I don't know if you're allowed, but there's a guy at the back.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Andrew Taylor. I moved into Black Horse Road about 14 months ago, and I don't know who anybody is.
Okay.
And so I'm obviously a new resident here. I done my best to try and get a handle on what this is about, and I am struggling a little bit. And I would be grateful if people would tell me who they are and what they do, and what their position is. And really, if you wouldn't mind, I'm sorry to appear very thick, but why are we here? and that would be good, because I have nothing, I couldn't find much about it. It's just really just a sort of sorry, I'm so thick, but I am new here.
Not at all.
Thank you.
You want to answer?
Yeah. 15 years ago, this was set up to build a new community building for the village.
Sorry, what was it?
The CCP.
Right, okay. This is good.
Yeah.
Who set it up? Just the residents?
No, I think it was Paul Brandon, who was the...
I'll just step in there. So the CCP is not been running for 15 years. Other committees were.
Yeah.
But that's because the whole process started 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But we're now up to where we are now. And
Yeah.
we've got
Sorry to interrupt.
It's fine.
I struggle to understand.
What you've got in the last 4 or 5 years, some people don't want the building, some people do. So there's been a lot of to and fro. So what we decided was, and which I think is a great thing, is we're going to go to the village. The village will decide, which I think's the right way forward. Because if the village don't want it, then we're all wasting this time. So we can go and do whatever we want. But if they do want it, then we have a mandate to take it forward. That's where we are. If you come to these meetings, you'll see the two sides, who want it and who don't want it. It's quite clear. But we've never been able to agree on one thing. So the parish councils took that on board, and they have said that they're going to take it to the village. And that's what they'll do. The village will decide whether we have a new building or not. And really, that's where we are. Forget all the politics in the past.
No.
That won't mean anything.
Okay, so if I may ask, who's who? Sorry. I know nobody.
Yeah. I'm Kevin Pell.
Trelane Moore.
Audrey Winter.
Carl Tulloch. On the committee. No, Rob's doing minutes today.
Dick Mo.
Yeah. So this is like
What's your name?
Andrew Taylor.
Yes.
So this is like just an informal discussion group.
It's a working group. Now, there's one or two things that Carl will mention on the, I'm sure, but really, we're kind of in limbo a little bit because we are waiting for this vote. Because anything we decide, then it might be negated by what the village wants.
But when you say decide,
yeah, the village.
Sorry,
No,
I'm trying to understand what we're achieving.
Tonight, we've got one or two things that are outstanding, so that's all we're doing.
Okay, thanks.
So we're going to put the thing out to the village to, there's a little question there. It won't be one piece, it'll be a few little bits and pieces on there. And that'll come from, my understanding is from the Borough Council, and then that'll go round to the village. Every household will have it, and you'll get your vote.
So we are advising the council, this group is advising the council?
All we can do, the council will have the end decision on the question.
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
It'd be nice if they did listen to what this group say.
Okay.
They don't have to.
So this is an informal discussion group, basically?
Yeah, it's a proper meeting. We can do a meeting.
Yeah, of course.
Or else we could have this in the pub.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
it's an informal meeting which I'm not trying to belittle it, don't get me wrong, but it carries no weight.
You can make decisions.
Yeah, we do. We make our decisions.
So whose money are you using? Sorry, I'm really struggling.
We're not going to spend anything.
No, I'm sure we were talking about the budget. weren't we?
No, I never said a budget. We can say a budget. All right.
So when this committee was first set up by the parish council,
Yeah.
which was 7 years ago, the progression from that, from the very early days, was pretty rapid. So we come up with a plan. We spent many days in here to and fro in like what we're going to have in the new village hall.
Always going to happen.
It's going to happen. It was tedious at times, go on days and days and days over many meetings. So it was quite clear that we got to a point where we knew what we were going to build, what we had hoped we were going to build, is a better word for it. So obviously then we need to get planning permission. So, and that doesn't come free. So what we did is we had to go to the parish council and ask them if they would give us some money towards our fees, you know, for lots of different things. You know, land survey, flood surveys, the pavilion, etc. So they gave us £12,000 as a start-up money to get us going. So that allowed us then to get the plans all drawn up by Fix Watterson, Westminster. And then that in turn, we went to the floods. You know, we all done all what you have to do with the planning. We've done surveys. So.
But I'm obviously.
We did also put on some fundraisers.
Oh yeah, so we're spending.
Community together.
I must be being really, really picky. You said this committee was set up by the parish council. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this a subcommittee of the parish council?
It's a working group.
It's a working group.
It's a top committee.
Exactly the same as the play
So
park.
if the parish council set it up, the parish council, with respect, the parish council must have given this committee terms of reference. If they set it
The
up.
parish council gave us money, £12,000.
Which goes.
So part of the deal was that there was going to be, there was a parish council at the time, there was six parish councils and the Baptists spread out and do half and half. And then we were sent away to do what we did, and that's what we did.
The parish council have asked a, call it what you like, discussion group, subcommittee, to start the ball rolling, for want of a better expression. Is that fair?
The previous even before my time, I've been on 17 years. They got somebody called Tim Wall because we were kind of new. Nobody really knew that much about how to get money and things like that. Tim Wall was brought on how many years ago? 10? I think it was more than that. Before your time.
I think he was involved with something previous, but I think
he were on when Rob was the chair,
yeah.
and that's going back quite a long time. Anyway, this Tim Wall, he's good at going to people and telling you what where people can give you money and different things, and we kind of were led by him really. The parish council paid for him to come in and give us expert advice, and that's what he gave us.
I get that. My confusion, and please forgive me, my confusion is the makeup of this and the responsibility that this committee has. So if this is a committee, presumably it has a structure to it, this committee, which is, I assume, the chairman, which I guess is you, sir. Okay. The one thing I have seen, and I'm sorry to bring this up because this won't be appreciated, I'm not doing this to be mischievous, I'm just being honest, is the video footage of you resigning as chairman in August last year. Now I don't wish to go into that, but I can't see how this can be a properly constituted committee.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, yes, please do.
Yeah, I never saw that on video and I've watched it 3 times.
Yeah, I've seen it today, I heard it today.
I have seen it 3 times because I was told.
Well, with respect, so I check my facts before I say anything.
Okay.
Okay. So my confusion here is I don't see how this committee can achieve anything unless it works to the terms of reference. I'm not sure where you're going and why, to be honest with you. I mean, it's great that people are having a discussion, and more people should be having a discussion, and more of this should be in here. I don't know why they're not. Why aren't there more people here? Does it just prove that the residents aren't interested? I don't know.
I disagree.
Oh no, I'm asking the question.
This is, as Kevin said, people will go, we are a working party, whatever you call it, a working party, so it doesn't really matter to us. What we're trying to do is achieve a new village hall for the village.
It's the village hall.
if the village wants it. And then that's up to them. So that's where we're down with that. So basically, that's the answer to your question, is that we are a working party, and we are doing our utmost to make that happen.
You're advising the BT.
Where we want to go, and where hopefully the village will vote for a new village hall. And then all this time and this work will be in vain. And money, you know, because obviously we've had parishioners' money, which is about £12,000. We still have some left of that, which is roughly about 5, we believe. So that's where we are with that. So you're more than welcome to join the committee.
Where's your standing on it?
I'm learning, that's all I'm doing.
That's not the question. The question is, where's your standing? Do you think they should have a new building or not?
I don't know yet, because I haven't found out enough about it. I have no costings or anything like that at all, which is going to come in time, I guess.
I'll come to that in a bit.
Yeah, the thing is, if this is advisory, why aren't there more people here? If this is open to the...
The parish council don't get any more than this.
There's more in here than usually a parish council.
Well, probably because I'm here.
Maybe you should come to parish council meeting.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, have you met everyone? Are you okay now, yeah?
I'm struggling to
Maybe
understand.
watch and see how you quite a lot of information that someone struggling to understand.
I suppose I've chaired many committees in the past.
And been set up. And obviously been set up with a load of rubbish information
Would you like to
in the
know?
back pocket. Yeah.
Well, all the information I've got,
When you didn't design.
all the information, well,
How do you know that? It's not even on the video, you know, we've been through the video because they
I've been through it 3 times, but end of the day, anyway, we've met everybody. Thank you very much. And we'll-
No, you didn't. Well, I haven't seen it, I've been through it twice, I was here.
I've been through it 3 times, and I had to go through the whole lot, and I haven't seen it once. I haven't seen it once. I'll go through it again, but that'll be 4th time I've seen it. Thank you very much.
Sean, I have to challenge that, Kevin, because sorry, it's...
As soon as you told me, Steve, as soon as you told me, I went through it.
Move on from it, because it's doing my bloody head, in, I don't want to hear what
Can we move on?
I think, funny enough, I went through it, and Steve said, can we put that to a vote for removing the chair and electing a new one? You then said, we've got a councillor in the loop, the statement in the loop. Steve said, okay, we'll wait till...
No, that's when they
Thank you.
call for no confidence in the chair,
Yes.
and the councillor in the loop, and then someone takes over.
I'm getting there. Rob Lucas said, we can't go on like this before. This is what I've said. I'll tell you what, I'll take you the problem, and we go now, I'll resign.
So that's on video.
Yes.
That's on YouTube.
Just saying that the meeting was closed before that was said.
It was proposed as closed, but it wasn't seconded.
But anyway.
Anyway,
You know what I mean? You don't second it.
Someone saying that the video, I checked it, and obviously...
can I have a copy of that, please? I haven't seen it.
It's on YouTube.
Can you send me a copy so I can...
No, go on YouTube like everyone else does.
I don't do
So
this.
it's committee or whatever. Have you thought, you know, well, yeah, there's a lot of you that don't want it or whatever. Have you thought about maybe setting up a we don't want?
No.
I can't understand that.
The only thing that the thing is, if you're going to do something, do it properly.
In your opinion. In your opinion.
Steve, we're trying to do it properly, but as you know, and you've been to every single meeting, you're going to do whatever you want to do. We are trying to do it. We get held up by a certain food that obviously don't want it. One of them lives beside it, and he's made it quite clear over the years that he doesn't want that building.
Numerous occasions.
On numerous occasions, and he actually said, I don't care where you put it, but not in my backyard.
That's right.
Okay.
The question is,
He said that.
we build.
He said that. Can I continue? Steve, please don't talk over me. I'm trying to talk to you and explain. So, that was it. So, Steve Birchall has got a hatred for me. That's his problem, not my problem. But he's quite happy to be neutral. Well, yeah, fine. I haven't got an issue with that at all.
But there's no need for him to lie.
No.
on numerous occasions
He's
about the chair.
You're all saying that he didn't make a comment on video, and I'm claiming that it's today.
Okay.
So
I'll ask you
let's not call each other liars. Let's say that we're visible or we're visible.
would you please send me that video?
Go on YouTube, it says the link is on the top.
I don't think you took on it.
Well, that's what the video is.
Oh, can you
I
download
don't have a
it?
copy of it. I've deleted it off the camera. It's on
Strange
YouTube.
you.
No, because I have to clear it out because it runs out of memory.
That I've seen it. So when did you see it, sir?
That was on YouTube.
Okay.
You could do
Yes,
it
on
on
YouTube,
YouTube.
yeah, could you?
You know.
Go let yourself. I'm not getting on YouTube.
Can we, is there any chance we can move on, please?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I've got an issue with the minutes.
Very good.
I've got an issue with the minutes.
Okay, sorry.
Although I wasn't there, they've spelled my name wrong.
Okay.
It's got an E on the end.
I wasn't there as well.
Sorry, I think, yeah. I don't think I've actually got a copy. I never really had an E on the end.
It's always got an E on the end.
When have you done that? Okay, so number 3 on the agenda is to consider to update the business plan that we have. I see very little point in that at the moment. I don't know, what do you think, Dick?
Well, no, not because it's going to take a fair bit of work, and if we
Yeah.
don't get the go ahead, it's not going to be sensible, is it?
There's lots of changes and stuff
Yeah.
within that. Okay, so the big one is we have number 4, to consider what questions to put to the parish council for a village referendum on the new build, proposed new build. So I don't know if anybody's had time to come up with any questions that they think that we should put to the council for them to decide what questions go to the
I wondered who was going to monitor the place when it's built. Would it be both of the council, or would you get an employed person in?
I think that's something they do when they do like they do here. And I like she just run this one. She's I assume they'll just do the down the same room. That'll be all in that within that business plan.
Well, I think we should ask the village, do they want to community centre, yes or no, and take it from there. As Kevin said, if they don't want it, then...
Yeah, just once it goes to village, it's either yes or no. It saves us all time. They either do want it or they don't, and then that's the question.
I thought we were still going to do a consultation of the village before the referendum.
But apparently we haven't been
Well, that's
officially.
only that Michelle Gann, isn't it? Because she was going to do that. But at the parish council meeting, I believe they wanted a referendum instead. When all along they've kind of been saying that they want to do a consultation. We need to see if the village need it, if the village actually wants it.
Yeah, we had a meeting with Michelle Gann, and just to briefly, who wasn't there, Michelle Gann got brought on board as a recommendation from the Borough Council to come, and I think we may have told her that we wanted something different. She comes in and gathers information and then gives you the information, but then she said what we wanted, because we had a meeting all here on a Saturday with her, and we said, well, we want a question to the village, and so the village can decide yay or nay, yeah. And after a few days, she said she didn't feel that her company was able to give just a yes or no. They do more than that. So after that, then we've talked about the Borough Council doing it, but that will get mentioned on Thursday. So I can't really tell you any more about that at the moment. But you need someone.
The village kind of needs to know a little bit about what they're saying it will do too.
I'll come to that.
What we can...
Yeah, I'll come to that in a moment.
The village needs, it's got to be a clear and straightforward question. Now, if you give them information afterwards about why you should vote this or why you shouldn't, that's something different. but you don't want to be complicating it for the village, because what they'll do is if they see an A4 sheet of paper with loads of stuff on, they'll look at it and just bin it. You really want them to engage. You just need a simple question or two questions and say, do you want this hall? It's, you know, do you want it or not? It's got to be what they will send back, rather than just doing it.
The hall could be a shed if they don't know what.
That's right, but then you give that information later, or before the vote. But what you can't do is you can't, this is my personal opinion, you can't just give 10 questions and then they'll look at that. I'll tell you, half the people will just throw it away because they're not interested.
Well, unless it was instead.
You can say that, but it's a dear incentive. You know, I don't know what it will be. I mean, I don't know. For the village, I think it costs about £2,000, something like that, for a vote to the village, for the borough council to do it. I'm guessing, I think it's round about that, maybe.
I think it could be a maximum of 8.
Well,
the one they did it, it wasn't Castleacre, it was the Creeks did one.
Well, Steve
their bill was 6.5.
Steve Birdshaw at the last meeting, I believe it was the last meeting, when I believe it might have been, it won't be in the minutes, but it did say, after Michelle from that company said she couldn't do it, he said we ought to go to the Borough Council because it'll be about 2,000. So I'm guessing he may have phoned them.
If they can organise at the same time as another vote, yeah, it would only be that. But if they have to organise it on a separate day, as a one-off event, then
if you have information, if you have a village referendum at the same time as an election, then what happens is that you actually screw up the election process, because a village poll takes place between 4 in the afternoon and 8 or 9 at night. And what happens is you can't do post votes either, so you actually shrink down the election window and you end up upsetting people who can't.
But that's the way that most parish councils do their vote.
Electoral services recommend against it.
Yeah, but it's the way they do it because it saves money.
The electoral services recommend
The way that
against
it's
it.
working.
They also say that a village poll wouldn't cost much at all. I think an election costs £3,000. That's what parish council billed for last time. And he's saying that a poll would be much less than that, because you're talking about horrible the sampling costs and also to print out the poll card.
We've had numerous open days with this over years, and I mean numerous. It must be between 5 and 10 open days, and I would say there was no more than this amount of people come in. The plans were there, it was on all the notice boards. The only way you can get to every parishioner, which I think is really important, is for the borough council to get it to every household.
Would the parish council pay that amount? 6,000?
Listen,
It's not going to be 6,000.
it won't be that. But look, the only fairest way, so nobody on the parish council, we've got divisions on the parish council about this issue. The only way you're going to clear this up is not have anybody on the parish council leading it, and then it's somebody completely independent.
Yeah, I get that, but as the parish council makes decisions, what's gone in that process?
The only
poll without borough council impartiality.
borough council's impartial.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You can't run a poll unless you include the borough council.
It's got to be. It's got to be. It can't. There's too many divisions in this village to let it have anybody else do it. It's got to be the borough council.
So can we do both?
Do what you want, but
Can we do the consultation? Because we still have money. We still have money in the pot so that we can spend independently. Do you think that'd be an idea?
me personally,
Just put that out.
I don't. We've gone for months and months, right?
Okay,
This has been going on since January. We've got nowhere.
I know.
Nowhere.
And why haven't we?
It doesn't change the vote. I mean, I think it would be quite silly to get the borough council to come in and organise a referendum without people being given the chance to actually ask questions and do something about it. That's got nothing to do with the borough council. That's just the village saying, this is the possibility of what could happen, or what we want.
Unless you have defining questions, yeah?
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with the question,
Yeah.
because you sort the questions out, you
Yeah.
do it, you organise your referendum,
Yeah.
Borough Council take over,
Yeah.
nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
There is nothing to stop interested parties putting forward their views on it before the vote.
That's right. I mean,
That's basically an open day, or
So would you
whatever you want to call it.
Instead of going to put that to consultancy, we carry on with the Borough Council for the Borough Council voting. We want to do it. But then we as our local party, we then go out to basic social media, whichever way you want to, YouTube, they are.
you can do what you want.
We can do all that
Yeah.
independently. We as our group, we can go out and do
Yeah,
that.
it's no different to Labour and Conservative have been two
At least we
thing and
shan't,
just giving their opinion before.
yeah, but we shan't people out, on the two social media pages we have in the village, and
I will guarantee you, the people that don't want this new building will have an A4 sheet of paper going through every house in this village, guaranteed. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if it's set up already. This vote needs to go. And then, once it's gone to everybody, every question needs to be answered that we wanted to ask, because then there's no arguing anymore. What I'd like to come into a meeting after that vote, we come back, there's every single clear question answered, and that's our mandate. If you don't want it, I've got no problem. Then we don't waste this time anymore. Then we can go home and watch Corrie,
but
something like that.
I think Big's right, which is they don't know what they're going to get. So we need to tell them what they're going to get.
But that's
You
precisely.
could have that opportunity, that's fine.
Precisely.
It won't be organised by anybody.
No, you won't know what to build unless you've got to answer the question before you can
We've
tell
got
what
the
to build.
questions at the consultation.
If you ask the question, do you wish a new community building? Now they're not going to come and say, well, I'd like red doors, and yellow doors. People aren't that bothered that they would like a new building.
Can I propose some questions?
We can all pose questions,
Can I propose three questions?
but they won't. It's the parish council that will
I'm
determine.
helping you here, Kev, I'm trying to help you. Can I propose some questions?
Listen, I'll write it down, but whatever we say here is only a recommendation to the parish council.
Yes, I understand that. Can I just give you recommend three questions?
Yeah.
Right, number one, should the existing pavilion be replaced with a new facility?
That's not part of that consultation, is it?
No, these are three questions. Hang on.
What was that one? Should
Should the existing pavilion be replaced with a new facility?
I would
The fact of the matter is that's where...
Can I make
that is where...
just a comment. I mean, I'm saying on new facility
Mhm.
is too open-ended.
It is. Yeah. You've got to be clear. You
But we don't know what's going there.
You've got to be clear, Steve.
So you've got to frame the question so that you've got, so should the new pavilion be replaced with a, should the old pavilion be replaced with a new pavilion? Because you've got to do something with it, because it's falling down.
We don't know what's going to put in it.
Just a sports pavilion.
Well, you're going quite a narrow remit then, because...
Yes, but that then gives you a question that people can actually say yes or no to, because it is a
You've got to.
That's why you've got to be obvious. You can't have open-ended questions.
I use facility because it's quite open-ended. So you then turn around and say, people want something new there because that building's falling down and needs to be replaced. We need to put something there, but we haven't decided what that's going to be. We just acknowledge the fact it needs to be planned, and we want something new there, but we don't know what we're going to put in it yet.
So why don't your questions, should the pavilion be replaced with another sports pavilion? Should the pavilion be replaced with a new sports pavilion plus a community centre or community building?
Don't forget these questions, if they go to the Borough Council, have to be sent to chair.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Well, how many questions are you looking for?
Well, I would only be looking for 3.
Yeah, I only came up with 3 because I thought that anyone would be able to...
But mine are quite specific, because then people know what they're voting for.
It has to say.
Steve, just go through your 3, because
Okay, let's go through the other...
we can all go through.
No, this is how, because people are talking.
Yeah.
Second one, excuse me, because fingers crossed for screwed up. There you go. Should the existing memorial wall be sold to contribute towards new facilities? That's another bone of contention in the village.
Yeah.
And the third one, do the parishioners want to contribute towards construction or upkeep of any new building through their council tax?
Hold on a second, I'm just doing second one.
Sorry. Should the existing memorial wall be sold?
I got that. What's the third one?
Do the parishioners want to contribute towards the construction and upkeep, home slot, of any new building through their council tax? To me, because you said last month and then the month before, we don't know what the questions are, so I went off and just had a think and thought, well, what are the questions? And that's the best I can come up with.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help.
No, I get it. And these are the kind of questions that we need to put to the parish council, because the parish council will make that decision. And like, I agree with you guys. I don't think it needs to be many questions. Personally, I think it should be 2, but that's just me personally. You know,
those 3 questions I've come up with get to the heart of what's stalled everything up to now.
I would struggle, and the people I've talked to, I would struggle with contributing towards the cost. I didn't know what the cost was.
You don't know, do we? Because you don't know what grant funding you're going to get, you don't know whether it's much funding.
But you might.
What happens if, because presumably it's a yes or no question?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens if you vote yes for the first one and no for the last one, and therefore you're actually just got a vote that doesn't go anywhere because you've just cancelled yourself out?
Because it's a bit like a play park, really. If we turn around to people and said, do you want a new play park? Yes, we do. Do you want to pay to an extra whatever on your council tax to maintain it? People might have another opinion about it.
Well, they do. They have contributed from the council tax to pay for it.
Well, yes, but it comes through the parish council funds, the statutory thing that the parish council does.
But the thing is, though, Steve, we live in a...
Well, it wasn't a poll, you're right, it wasn't a complete referendum, but there was a survey on the leaflets went out. And
Sometimes.
many people responsible for consulting through social media, the links went out.
Oh, wait, you just do that then? Do it on social media?
No.
We do live in the Keynesian post-war economic situation still, in which everything's paid for by consensus, which everything's paid for through taxation. Everything's paid for through taxation. That's the Keynesian post-war consensus that we're still living under. We're still living under, what, 70 years after the war ended?
If you went to parishioners and said, are we willing to put 18,000 in for the play park, they would have said no. No, I don't agree with that, because we made a decision. No, just hear me out.
Okay.
But if you just say we want 18,000 to go to a play park, now everybody that ain't got children would have said, well, why should I pay for it? But they don't. They're not looking at the bigger picture, and that's what the parish council has to do. You've got to think of the whole community, not just part of the community. You know, I totally agree with that play park, but if, like I said, if you'd have gone to the village and said they're going to need 18,000 to get it over the line,
But the BNP comes back on that, so
it does. It does, but you've got to tell them that.
Maybe it was a bad analogy, I don't know.
But at the end of the day, it would have been the wrong decision to go to the village with that one. But this one is the right decision.
So, is the third question a vote contention or?
Me personally, I think that's just your opinion.
No,
We've got to see
this
other
is
people.
in my view, these are the 3 things that have caused so much upset and discomfort around the place.
In a queue.
Well,
And it is
I mean, you can't discount how anyone feels about anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's entitled to an opinion. So
I agree.
they're the questions that to me just seem cold and logical and just give you answers that enable the CCP to either carry on or don't. Because after those questions are answered, if they're in the affirmative, then you turn around and say, right, okay, we've got a mandate to carry on. What do we want? Let's go around and work out, you know, whether the facility is going to be a sports facility, whether it's going to have parish council facilities, whether it's going to have communal rooms, That's a whole month meetings, you know.
If you-
Thank you, Steve, for your input.
Certainly, you're welcome.
Well, I've got a couple that do you want a new community centre for the village? Do you agree to the sale of the old memorial hall to help fund the village?
Hold on a sec. What was that first? New community centre.
For the village?
Yeah. Second one.
Do you agree to the sale of the old memorial hall to help fund the village?
Yeah. Is that it?
You're protecting the theme.
Okay.
I'm protecting the theme because questions 1 and 2, the pair of us are similar.
But that's what it'll be. I'll guarantee you I'll guarantee you on Thursday when they talk about it, most of the questions will be very same because they've got to be. First of all, you want to know if they want one.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm quite happy with Sophie's too.
I am too. They're the only two questions I think should be asked, because that nips everything in the bud in one hit.
Because you'll get a definitive answer. You'll get a definitive answer of whether you want a new community centre.
I don't agree with the facility bit. I
And
agree.
no,
I think it should be a community.
Facility words,
Yeah.
the facility's wrong, but
Yeah.
I mean that's just wording. And secondly, you'll get a clear answer as to whether people are happy to sell this building, to fund it, or are they going to pay,
So you
keep this building and pay more on your tax.
You said it was a source of the facility just now. Now you said it's a community centre.
Well, you know.
That will include the things and the parish council office.
It's
And all along.
a community centre, Steve. What else?
If we vote,
That's why I stated Woolly and just said facility. That's why, because we've got people already saying we're going to build that.
the trouble is that thank you. I think this is my go. That's all right with you?
There's no need to talk to me like that, I'm not 12.
Well, just listen.
He's an ex-teacher.
Oh,
So I refuse to be a
you're not saying it.
Anyway,
like this all night, it's just getting very, very boring.
I've lost my place now. I think it's important that people realise that actually if they vote no for this, then it is still going to cost them money, because we are going to have to do some other building. And it's likely to cost us, our grant revenue for that is likely to be much smaller.
I agree.
So.
But these are things that wouldn't be a question. These
No, it shouldn't be a question, but I think it needs to be brought out when we have an open meeting or open day or whatever you want to have to explain what's going on.
A different avenues. Yeah. I agree, 100%. And we've always tried to be that way, transparent on everything. We really have. So, do we take them few questions to the parish council? Do we have a show of hands on that?
So, is that okay, just to be clear,
Just say that again, sir.
you know, obviously Steve's got number 2 with selling existing memorial, and Sophie said that. Obviously, when I agree with the questions, yeah, when you do send a letter to the village, you know, or whatever, you need to make sure that they're aware that this building wouldn't be vacated until the new building was built. That's priority, because that's what always was said.
Yeah.
It was always said that.
That can be in part of that question here.
It's got to be.
You know.
Yeah.
And that could be in like those practices, so that it will not, be not
Yeah.
sold until the new one's up and running. So
That's right.
It's an easy thing to add.
It has always been.
Just say them questions again, Sophie, so we have.
Sorry, my contract.
We'll vote. We'll tell you what we do. We'll vote on the first one.
Okay. Do you want a new community centre for the village?
Show of hands who agree with that statement.
Sorry, I just like to tweak it a little bit. I'm going to mention it Thursday. Forget me. Yeah, I'll mention it.
All right. Do you want the next one? Okay. Do you agree to the sale of the old memorial hall to help fund the new building?
think that's good, with the bid.
But yeah, they'll explain that they're waiting on.
Show of hands on that question, please.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine.
That's,
Say that in there.
Did you abstain? To try and resolve any grant funding. Until we go to the parish, and we know about the actual outcome, we're not going to do it. There seems very little sense in trying to get, more funding, because where we are now, so it's slightly different what we were a couple of years ago when we were sort of like flying with it. And so I think we park that one for today. Do you think?
could I just mention one thing in terms of funding? That we've cut ourselves off from a very large amount of funding because the parish council are doing this.
What's that?
Because they, the lottery,
Yeah.
parish council can't apply
Why is that?
because they're not allowed to.
Okay. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, it's because you're a government body. Effectively, you're government funded.
Yeah.
And if you look at the other village halls, especially Marshland, which had a massive amount of money from free funding to build their hall, it's because it was a charity. And I think for quite a long time we've actually been going down the wrong route.
Okay.
Parish council, I know it's a massive step at this stage, but if you are serious about getting the maximum amount of funding, therefore reducing the burden as much as possible on the parishioners, then I think the whole thing should be run as a charity.
But then it doesn't belong to the parish council anymore.
No, it belongs to the charity. That's fine, that's not an issue. The parish council would have to give you permission to do that, obviously, but I'm not sure what happened in terms, but Marshland definitely, I mean, in Marshland it's a bit blurred because the chairman of the parish council and the chairman of the charity are the same person. But the charity has a constitution, which is written so that it can only be things done for the village that has trustees, and it's all, it's very legal. And it's quite an onerous document, the trustee document. So it belongs to the village via these trustees, and the trustees get voted on, just like parish council gets voted on.
So that would work the same as the armchairs down the road there, they have the trustees.
Yeah.
Similar way this is run.
In a similar way, and if you do that, you can then apply for lottery funding.
It was built on parish council now.
Yes, it was.
The old building was not, we're going to do one now.
No. It was built, but that's just the parish council giving permission to build on the land.
But
I mean, technically, you should both have parishioners in mind. You're both, in that way, looking after the village, and your constitutions are like that. So it would be very churlish for the parish council to sell it. I mean, I think the parish council they sold it to them for £1. There had to be some legal way of.
Just jumping in there. I don't think the parish council owned the plan for it. It's the church that they've gave for us.
The church give the front field, but they bought the back field. Oh, they got.
Did they give it legally, or did they just give them
It's a legal document that they got. The front field was gifted to the parish council for sport.
Yeah. Because I know we had a lot of hassle when we wanted to sell alcohol.
There's a covenant on it, that's
That's all it is. You're right. And we got round that by, get around that. We got told how to do it, because when we had the fun days, and they wanted to do that, then the legal people...
But I mean, all I'm really saying is that if you get a yes vote to build a new community centre,
isn't it?
then I think you should seriously consider passing this on then to a constituted charity.
Go away and get all the information for us.
I've got all the stuff from Marshall. I spent 3 hours with the woman chatting to her. She would quite happily give us their constitution. But I mean, it's the same issue we've had with the hall and the VAT and everything else. Is that this really should be run by charity as well. And what you would end up doing is if people voted not to dispose of this and it was still there, put both of them in together into the same charity.
And so would we still be able to claim the back then?
Yeah, the charity, yes.
Okay, because we could say 140,000.
Yeah, but as a charity you can claim that back. Pretty sure you can. Well, 99% sure you can. But I think it's the way you should go in terms of looking at further funding.
With Sports England, that's still doing it.
I'll come to that.
Well, they did in March. Well, the Football Association did, because their changing rooms were paid for by the foundation. Yeah, no, it's the same thing. So that wouldn't stop you getting funding from that as well.
So the Football Foundation see themselves as last resort. That does not mean, they're not going to give you the money. So just on the back of that, so I've had a meeting with the Football Foundation. I'm not going, and he sent an email to say that they are prepared to fund us for. He hasn't put the amount, but verbally it's about 200 to between 200 and 210, all depending on how much funding we can actually raise before that time.
Is that match funding?
Sorry?
Is that match funding?
No. Separate fund. So all he wanted to know is this a parish council behind it, and then to answer yes at the time. I assume it still is. So he's I've got the email and sent it around to everybody that wants to see it. He said there is money there. So that helps, that helps.
Yes.
Can I just want you to clarify that? Are you saying that this would have to go back onto the market in order to provide some sort of guarantee to the Football Foundation?
I didn't know it come off the market.
No, you came off last week.
Who took it off?
They did.
They did.
Who did?
Collins.
Why?
Because I can't really say yet, because I haven't spoke to the clerk.
Are we going back on?
I've got to keep that to myself at the moment. It wasn't a decision made by the parish council, but there's some correspondence I need to clarify first.
Will it be going back on?
Well, really, it all depends on the vote, doesn't it? I mean, if the village don't want it, why would you put the village all up for sale?
But you have to understand.
I get that, Cal.
It doesn't have to be. The funding doesn't have to be from the village hall.
No, it doesn't. No.
I mean,
the answer, the question here is: does the parish council back it and have that other out funded in some way?
Yes. So if the parish council said we will kick in 170,000, then that's your match funding. It doesn't have to be the salaries hall. Then obviously you'd have to pay.
I have this on the watch list. This disappeared at the start of last week by Rand Collins, and this is now been taken off the market.
Well, that's just their decision. It's not our decision.
You're right. You're right. That's right.
That's their decision because they obviously have their own reasons for doing it.
Now, there was a situation which I'm not...
But it doesn't stop us moving it to a different estate agent.
Right, so can I just go back to my original question? Does the Football Foundation say that you have to have an asset which they can say, well, that's worth X, so therefore we'll give you Y.
Depends what you mean by asset.
No,
Do
they
you
just
mean
want
by
money.
building, or do you mean money?
Value of the building.
No, it doesn't have to be. You can just
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, it could be 50,000, as long as the parish council are coming in with something. That's all they're interested in. Parish council have to be seen to be helping themselves as much as they're...
That's always been the case.
So instead of the parish council saying, we've got, I don't know, £62,000 in surplus in the bank account, they have to say, we have an asset that we put on the market worth...
Well, the parish council agreed quite a few years ago.
I'm not disputing
Well, no,
that.
but, you know, if it's worth 250,000 or something, it looks a lot rosier. You know, we've got this, you don't even have to sell more, you know, to get funding, you know, we potentially have got £250,000 sitting here in this hall. For funders to say, oh yeah, the parish council, you know, they're offering up the bills, you know, and we can get some funding in and get the ball rolling, you know.
Okay, so is that a condition? I think that's another question. Is that a condition of funding from the Football Foundation?
It doesn't have to be an asset.
It's just,
It just has to be an amount of money.
Yeah.
And we've said we've got this asset worth 170,000. But we could equally say we are going to get a grant from the government for 170,000. We're putting that in. It doesn't matter where it comes from,
All right, okay.
as long as you have to guarantee that the community has actually contributed.
That was one of the things.
It doesn't matter how.
Do you remember mentioning about Tim Wall? Okay. That was one of the things. Yeah, but that was one of the things he suggested at the time, Carl. Tim Wall. That's one of the things he suggested at the time, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, so going back again, a few years ago, when I was on the parish council, we had a meeting with Tim Wall, he came here over there, and we was discussing, and he said it would help if we had an asset or money that we could put in. So we said, well, the idea would be to sell this, put this up for sale. He said, if you put it up for sale, then the foundation look at that favourably, because it looks like the parish council actually wants the bill, and they have something towards it.
And at the time, yeah.
50 grand or 600,000, I don't know, wherever you sell this for. If you don't sell it, as Dick said, you can get that money from somewhere else.
It's like all grants. All grants these days, you have to show that the community wants it, the community are going to make an effort to raise money towards it.
When they've done the children's play area, which on record is, I think it's a brilliant idea, I think it's done really well. But when they've done that, they haven't got all that money for nothing. They would have to show something. So that money they're showing is £23,000 still money. That came to the parish council. So that money is showing that now, okay, we've got 23 grand we're going to put towards, from here at 100,000, which is a good percentage, a good core of it. So then you'll get the funding to come in with it. And other little bits and pieces that they've got. That's
So you have to secure it.
Nobody gives you for nothing. No, they need you to commit. The only way they're going to get you to commit is if you're going to.
So
but it doesn't matter where it comes from.
Any business, anybody with a bit of sense would have got this. Obviously.
Another thing you mentioned at the time, which I think is important as well, it told us that you have to generate, like say, car books or fund days. That's why we originally started the fund days, because it looked as though we were generating money for 2 months ago.
2 months to engage.
No, he completed his.
Of him, yeah.
We're not paying him.
We're not paying him.
And I think you put a bit of bob in there. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he's still available if you need him. But I think in my opinion, I think Tim Wall's, like he's gone to his end now. He cannot. I don't think he'll help us anymore now.
He got the football foundation to come down, and he got Sport England to come down. Me and Ray Thornalley met with him down the field. Obviously, Sport England. That's pre-COVID time.
Yeah,
I don't know where Sport England are now. But
yeah. So going back to Sport England. So what the government has done now? Dick may know this. I don't know. All may know it. So the Football Foundation is paying funders, for a better word. Sports England now come under the Football Foundation umbrella. So when we apply for the football, when we start the process of applying for the grant for the Football Foundation, and I've been told we will get it, it's just that we have to go through all the processes. We can also then apply for sports England again for the sports that we want inside. That comes under the Football Foundation. They're put all into one fundraiser. But what I will say is, there's not much money in that sports England now, because during the pandemic, everybody that was throwing money at them in football clubs, they £5 grand, maybe more. They were just throwing money at people just to get stuff moving and stuff. So they haven't got a great pot of money. This financial year, but that, he said, that may well change later. That's how that all works now.
Okay.
So can we leave it to, you can come back with a bit more information or whatever you have with the charity, and then we'll
Well, I will do if we get a yes vote. I mean, because
do we agree that we have a look at this charity business?
We just need that vote, don't we?
Can I just ask a question? After the funding, you're then saying that possibly you're not going to get as much as you were originally, because I've misunderstood what you just said, the sports things and the two things. But if you're going to go with the same plan that we've had before, that 3 or 4 years ago was quoted as being, what, 750,000? If you're going to get less money now from there, where is the other money coming from? And will the village be, when you do get things sorted out, whether you know you're going to build or you're not going to build, will the village have a chance to say, if you then turn around and say, well, we need to raise 400,000 ourselves, are we going to get a chance to say, yes, do we really want to do that? Because I mean, at the present time, over the 15 years, fundraising, where's the money? You haven't raised an awful lot of money over that year to put towards the new.
15 years?
Yeah. What one now?
Well, seven, coming up 8 years.
Yeah, the first
Even in 7 or 8 years, you haven't raised an awful lot of money to put towards.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that, because we have spent on getting the planning commission alone. And
I appreciate that, but you haven't actually got any
I'm trying to explain to you. So, over the years, we've spent quite a lot of money on surveys and everything else that we've had. And they don't come cheap. So, I believe we spent in the region around £8,000 on that kind of stuff. We had 12. So, we have raised money through the we've done a couple of Halloween nights, didn't you? Some discos and stuff. We had a quiz night, we've had some fun days, and various other things that we've had. So I think in that time, fates. So in that time, I think we've raised at least that half again.
I think in terms of
It's in the parish council account.
Yeah, I've been going to the parish council meetings and they find that should have been in a separate account.
That's because the building codes are still working through it to find out where it's lost by the fleet.
So I'll explain that as well, if you don't mind me, I'll just put in there quickly. So on that parish council money, when we had the RFO for, what was his name, Puddyfat, what's his name? Kevin Puddyfat. Before we had him, we had another guy called Pat Doohig. So Pat Doohig, and you can see, if you look back at the old minutes on the finance, when we used to read his finance, on the back of the minutes, he used to put all the CCP stuff on there. So all the money that he took in, all the money that he gave us, and all the money that we raised is all on the back of there. And if anybody ever says there's not £5,000 or £6,000. Yeah. So that just answers your question.
I think in terms of funding, often one door closes, another one opens. You never know, when you're ready to apply for funding, you never know what is around. And at the moment, we've got funding there's funding available. We've applied for it, not got it, we can't apply again, for the offshore wind farms, who are giving out large amounts of money
I'm just trying to
keep
work out how much
sea.
it's going to cost the village if the village has to take it.
I don't think you're going to know that until very close to the time that you get to that point. What I think you've got to trust is that you actually vote parish councillors on to look after your money and to spend it wisely. And I can't believe that even if the village says, yes, they want to do a community centre, and suddenly funding dries up and we've got to fund it all ourselves, why not all 700
Would that be separate to the parish prefect? Because I thought there was.
No, it would be part of
there was a
parish.
limit that you had to.
No, what-
No, it could part of parish priest. But I mean, I can't imagine the parish council would then turn around and say, we're going to build it, because it's not, that would not be the right way to do it.
I mean, I'm not going to be benefited by it, because I probably shan't be here by the time that the new one is built.
I don't say that, how do you want to get that built?
Other people, well, I was hoping.
Oh, yeah,
Built
yeah.
all that, but we haven't.
I'm going to invite you down for a game of badminton. So I think, just going back to that, you know, Dersingham got a works, it's through the Borough Council, they got a works, I can't remember the second name.
I work in Benchmark.
A works, the Borough Council, they borrowed Dersingham, £1,000 to finish the building.
How much?
I'm not 100% certain, I'm not going to say it because I'm not 100%
But
certain.
Dersingham was an absolute mess, because they were nearly 30% over budget when they finished, and they had to get bailed out.
It did, yeah.
They had no choice.
Yeah, but you can go to the Borough Council and ask for those.
If you go to the government, you get a loan from the government for 1.5%.
But I'm just,
We don't know how this can't hold to finish.
well, you're right.
No, but that's
Right.
I'm saying that, you know, you've got to trust the people you voted on parish council, or if you go with a charity, you've got to trust the people you voted on as trustees to actually do the right thing. Charities, not so much of an issue, because none of that money's coming from you.
I mean, obviously the parish would like to have it being built, and they're not having to pay anything at all, but I mean, that's not how we want to do it.
No, I think anyone who thinks that we're going to get this, you're not going to have to contribute something towards it.
Yeah.
It's not being very sensible.
And these payments can go over, you can have them as long as 5 years, you can have them up to 50 years, you can have them as long as you want, because the money, you always have parish council, so there'll always be people in this village to pay for it. So obviously the longer you have it, the cheaper you're going to pay on your thing. But, you know, I'm just, it is, I can't get 98 for I should come in.
Obviously,
But
we
like,
want to get as much funding as we can. Well, we don't want to do, you know, we don't want the village staff to say, oh, we need it, you know, if at all, if we can get away with it. But, you know, the options are there to take away if we do get into that situation where
so whatever, so if you took it over 25 years, whatever that payment is, and off the top of my head, the worst scenario would be about 7,000, maybe a little bit more. So that 7,000 would then go on the precept every year to cover that cost. So that 7,000 be then distributed around to every house in this village was, you know, worth probably about 13p a week. It's not a lot. It's not 50, 60 pound a month like you've inherited. It's certainly not that.
Hasn't got to cost the whole up again, but the cost we had before was several years ago, and cost prices have got to go.
We're going to have to go through the whole process.
Right?
We're going to have to go through the whole process again.
Oh, what, for the new build?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that.
Could it be something smaller with a
I'll come to that.
then you
I'll
can
come to
add
that.
on as you go on.
I'll answer that question in a minute. So, can we have a vote that we have picked out the charity?
Yeah.
And bring that back to us and have a look at it? I'll say yes. Any correspondence? I've already talked about one, which was from Football Foundation. I will forward that on to everybody after this meeting. I've also been really rude, so we've got a playgroup here tonight, and I'll keep bring you into it. So we've got the Hannah who runs the playgroup, Little Labs here. So she's having a look today, so we're hoping that she can join the committee at some time, or a trusted friend. So hopefully they could come in. So I had a chat with Claire a month or so back. I came in and had a little chat with you, and then we had a little chat outside. So we've got a bit of an idea what Hannah wants ahead. So hopefully you can have a look you yourself or represent the company stuff. It's okay. So also, I spoke to Dave Hutton, who's the new chairman at Bowls Club. He seems quite a nice chap. Known him for a few years myself, not as, not close, but I haven't known him for a while. So anyway, I asked him to join us tonight, but I said earlier he's got a bowls meeting tonight. But he did send me an email, so I really asked him if he could go to his parish, to his bowls club meeting, and then just put forward, what they would like to see, and then report back to us, and as he has done today. So I can either read it out to you, or I can send it to you all. So he's put, hi Carl, at the moment there is no set position of the members. The main concerns that the club would have will include: will there be easy access to the toilets? 2, can equipment be stored very close to the green? 3, will we have access to a kitchen with the capacity to secure our items? 4, will our present storage capacity be reduced? 5, if appropriate, can we have on a league game evening access to 2 lockable changing rooms? 6, will there be an office near to the green, similar to what we have now, where the 2 captains on the league night can do their formalities required by the league? I think all the above are doable. The membership of the club is changing, with 40% of present members joining in the last year. My personal view is that the Bowls Club will work alongside the committee to ensure decisions are taken in the best interest of the village, and help the village have facilities compatible with the 21st century. When we visit other teams, most clubs have facilities better than ourselves. Regards, David, on behalf of the Bowls. So that was him, but he can't make tonight. Quickly read that foundation letter from the Football Foundation after a meeting I had with him maybe a month ago. I'll send it to you. All right, I'll send it to you. Clenchwarton Pavilion Football Foundation funding application. In my position of Head of Facilities and Development of North County Football Association, I write in support of Clenchwarton Football Club's aim to refurbish the changing room located on the village playing field. It's fantastic news that the football club and the parish council have prioritised the development of this project, which is much needed due to the fact that the existing facilities are extremely outdated and no longer fit for purpose. Part of my role is to guide and support the development of improved facilities of grassroots football across Norfolk. I have great faith in the fantastic work taken place to date by the project applicants, and have no doubt this project will be a huge success. As an association, we are pleased to support the proposal to develop an improved facility for the local community, and of course particularly pleased that this will directly support the Clenchwarton Football Club in its future development. We hope from this investment, this project will support the growth of mini youth and adult football associated with Clenchwarton Football Club, which ultimately will see many people from a range of population groups playing football. There is a significant, strategic need for the project to be delivered, as the project has been identified with the Borough Council of Kings Lynn and West Norfolk Football Facility Plan. I will work in conjunction with the Football Club and the Parish Council to develop and submit a funding application to the Football Foundation. The project will deliver a significant number of key strategic outcomes. Should you require any more information, please contact me.
You have strong.
Sorry?
Who was that from? Was that Football Foundation?
Yeah, Football Foundation.
It said submit a bid to the Football Foundation, so he's going to assist. The guy from the Football Foundation is going to assist you in creating the bid to the Football Foundation.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right, okay. It sounds like a third party.
No, he said he get funded start.
That's normally what most charities have, a helper. So that you tick the right boxes. And
They want you to have it, basically, don't they?
Yeah.
They want you to have it.
Well, and they also tell you whether you've got a chance to start, because if you haven't got a chance to get in it, they'll say, don't bother, because...
So, Docket, I know what Docket just one is put money in, and they're failed. And they're failed in the fact that they only have two football clubs, two football teams. So they failed miserably on theirs. There was another one, I think, Central or somewhere up there, I think they got some funding. But this one is high priority. I'll tell you now, it is high priority to fund that part of that bill. Which is good for us in a way. It starts the ball rolling, so once they're on board, then others will come in. So there's also the Borough Council funding thing as well, we can claim for something 50,000, I believe, is it?
I don't know, but...
Yeah, so talk to Gemma Curtis, I think, I had a chat with her, she's more than happy to help us with that. On the back of that, I've also asked Tim Ward to have a look at that, and Tim Ward has got it all sitting there ready to go. He needs the agreement from the parish council before you can do that. And that's all sitting ready to go. That seems a bit pointless at the moment. Over to you, Hannah.
Sorry, have we heard any more from Charrington doctors? Charrington Seconded Doctors Surgery.
Okay, so we have been talking very... I'll let you talk about it.
I was thinking about what you said before, sorry. Can you speak?
Charrington Doctors Surgery, have we heard any more from them?
I did speak to them, and unfortunately, because he wants an outreach surgery, because the little one is got over there, they rent it off, I think it's they've got to try and spend some money effectively. So he was really interested in some offices and things like that, but unfortunately, because they've only just built that club in Edgerton, they've only just built that new surgery Charrington's closed, they won't give them any more funding.
All right.
But this funding bit, that may change.
Yeah, it may change.
Yeah, it may change, but demand.
Yeah, he's still really interested,
Yeah.
but it's just whether he can get it funded.
15 years, isn't it?
I know, but it's the newest one in Norfolk, so that's where we stand about. And others that need replacing before they build him an outreach.
But that's something we can tap into.
See, I've got a different version of that story.
Have you? Oh, what have you got?
Well, I mean, this is from somebody who works there, but...
This was from Dr. Ahmed.
Yeah, this is not Dr. Ahmed, but they've been claiming they've been having surgeries to get funding for the one they've not been using.
Oh, really?
Well, that's what I've heard. So he's in a bit of a... Well, I don't know whether it's true or not, but I think he's a bit keener to actually get something working in Clenchwarton, because I think he might have his funding stopped or something. But that's disagreeing with.
We'll never know them anyway for him to come back.
Well, he's actually in the
Yeah.
see about that. Is that the order?
I think people talking to a lot of people, that would be a massive facility for the village. An outreach doctor surgery was open 3 because of stop people having to travel to.
Do you think that could do it?
He definitely wants to, but it's down to funding, so he wants to have one. Maybe go on to Water Street. Get dentist surgery as well.
You've got to go to surgery, you can't go to dentist.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to ask ourselves, didn't know whether it was Hannah, you just want to have a little chat how you see where you might want to go with your pay group.
Obviously, talk about different things happening with plans when they're all drawn up. We need to see whether they would be suitable. We've got other people potentially using the building at the same time. And then obviously it depends on what's happening with here. If it's going to be built, but then this is going to be left empty, there's then potential for us to stay here. And I don't know. At this point,
Okay, so-
it's got to wait until.
So if you have what we've got here, for instance,
Yeah.
we've got you exactly the same facility, and this was sold, would you be happy to draw this over there? I mean,
Yes, the only issue we would have is if the buildings are being used for other things at the same time.
yeah, because obviously we take that into,
Yeah, we have to make sure that
yeah, the
that
toilets and all that.
yeah, that effectively,
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
people have access to the areas that we were at all.
yeah.
But obviously want to have seen those things.
Okay.
You know when the other play group wanted to
Yeah.
come in, we did it so it was separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously we've got an office for the clerk as well,
Yeah.
so she needed
I
toilets.
think from those original plans, the only issues that I saw with it was that there was no access for adult toilets where that space was going to be, so they would have to leave the building
Yeah.
to walk around to use the
Yeah,
toilet.
so they were on the original plans, and the original
Yeah.
idea was just to have a
Yeah, and the
partition
temporary
through.
partition didn't work.
Because we
That-
did
that-
change it, didn't we, and put normal toilets in there, like they have
Yeah,
here.
so-
Yeah,
So what happened with that partition was it was just ridiculously too much money. So that was literally took out. So going back to your question, it is, I think, and I can't really put my personally myself, but I think if you had what you have here there, I don't think that changed much from that, do you, Kevin?
No, because you're on about because you're day based and the sports part would never get used on days. It wouldn't.
There's
Monday to Friday.
yeah. No, yeah, if we had exactly what
Yeah.
we've got here, where
Yeah. If you could imagine, you've got the whole hall, but then you would have the ability to go to the changing rooms where there's lots of toilets. Yeah, because obviously there'll be no sports in the daytime,
Yeah.
so you'd have a lot more area than this. And then the other end would be locked, whether you lock it or somebody else does, but then there'll be adult toilets in there just in case somebody's gone to see the clerk or something.
There's also outside toilets as well on that.
Yeah.
So I took the opportunity to go to big sports over the last, that's something for me what they want to do.
But if you do come on board, you're going to see that going forward anyway,
Yeah,
and you can see it from your point of view.
yeah, as long as space-wise, we're not going to end up losing out, and as long as like safeguard on side of it, other users of the building, then yeah.
So,
Is there any mileage at all in you leasing this? You'd lease this hall?
But when that's built,
No, you lease it for you, for the place, but it's just yours.
yeah, so that's what I meant. So if this wasn't being sold and it was going to be left empty, because obviously that would be less facility, if everybody then,
But I see effectively we don't have to sell it. Because if we lease it to you, the lease covers, and then we borrow the money from the government, and your lease covers the repayments.
yeah.
We actually have got the money, but we know it's not costing us anything, so. But if,
Yeah, that's what
for the
that-
building, if we lease it to you, it actually still belongs to us. But you, without sole use of it, obviously. Is there any mileage in that at all, do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we don't have to look figures and things, but as an idea,
Covering the
Until I know what it is.
But yeah,
so that's a positive. So
because my only concern about you using the other facility when it's built is that there is going to be a lot of money pumped into social care and OAP. It's probably not the right word these days, is it? But and there is a lot of money from the government, a lot of money from the county that we can call on, but we would need for you to do that.
yeah.
So things like Friendship clubs and-
for us is to not have to pack away and set up for a
Yeah.
to not have to arrive, what we do, an hour and a half before we open. So getting here
Yeah.
between 7 and 8 in the morning, we don't open till 9. Ideally, yeah, if we can.
See, if you had this place, we could probably reduce the cost of the other one because we haven't got to put in toilets and stuff. And if we can cover the costs.
They're going to say nothing. So, I know you voted on the questions, but all I'm doing is just trying to spin those questions in a more positive way. So, my suggestion would be, would you support the replacement of the existing condemned or irreparable, beyond repair sports centre with a new multi-purpose community centre? So you're saying everybody's welcome by using that. And should it be necessary, would you support the sale of the Memorial Hall to assist with funding? If you put should it be necessary,
I do hear what he says, yeah.
I just think it's a more positive spin on the question. That's all.
On your first question, is that the Strides called the community centre? Because that will, so it involves everything. So it's a football, bowls, whatever. It's preschool, whoever they want it. So that is, so that question is, I think that, I'll follow up your second question.
Multi-purpose says, well, all, I know community centre does, but you're sort of hammering the point out, but it's your decision.
Do you know, just one thing on that, and this goes back years ago when we were making decisions. It was always said that that building would be called the new Memorial Hall. That must be. That will be called the new Memorial Hall. That decision got made years ago, and I totally agree with that. So it wouldn't be called the community building. I'm just saying what it would be called, because this one was built in these guys, this hall, and then this will go to the new build as well.
Still call it Memorial Hall Community Centre.
You can, as long as it's the Memorial Hall.
Yeah, that's fine. I've got no issues with
But it's got to be.
I mean, them plaques out there, we'll put in there when I was chairman. I don't know, 1992, I think it was. Yeah.
What you're trying to do is just spin it's a terrible phrase to use, spin, but spin the question in as positive a way as you can. Otherwise you are almost closing the door on the, you're almost, you know, I'm just trying to open it out a bit.
I can see what you're saying. Support and, you know, I get what you're saying, because you're trying to drum up support.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like just yes or no.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
But I think you're in danger of without a doubt, you say, you know, to fund it, we're going to sell the community hall. I think immediately people are going to, and there will be supporters, I don't know who they are, but there will be supporters who are just going to turn around and say, you're not going to touch my community hall.
Yeah.
You know, so if you sort of open and say, should it be necessary? Because with what we've heard tonight, it may not be necessary.
Yeah. I had a conversation today with an old guy, exactly the same, about, I talked to him about it, just outside your house, he's doing that wall, and I says, oh, what do you think about the new wall? Oh no, I can't sell that. He says, I got, you know, I had my wedding doing that. I says, fair enough. I says, did you let your daughter get married in that building? Oh no, somewhere else. I'm thinking, so, I was saying, well, so really you do want a new building, but you don't want to get rid of the old one. And he says, well, yeah, I see where you're coming from. And a lot of people do like to stick with what they've got. You know.
Yeah, change is very painful for a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So,
sorry about that.
yeah, sorry. So, that's all we do with correspondence at the moment. Any other business? Anybody got any other business?
Can I? You know what the Friends of the Village are having their Jubilee tea park on board? Is there any chance that we as CCP maybe put some of the nicer facts as to what we could end up with, you know, not setting stone facts, but what we would like to offer in like a leaflet, just to sort of...
Regarding the new bill?
Yeah. Just like a nice little fact file really, that we could maybe show on the day or hand out on the
I've
day.
seen someone done a PowerPoint, didn't they? I've seen a PowerPoint that was quite good. Have you seen that PowerPoint? Someone done a PowerPoint, it's quite good.
Oh, you can use PowerPoint now.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. It's to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be up in the pavilion anyway.
You could put a picture of the Queen in there.
Are you thinking about that?
We can do the social media thing anyway, can't we?
I think we should go along the lines of having, you know, because we as CCP, the majority of CCP, want to get it built and progressed. So maybe we could have like a nice tea cake open day then, and show them what we've got in mind, you know, because nothing's set in stone yet, you know, just what we would like to see, visions, take answers, take questions. I would. Good. So we've got
Suggestion box. Suggestion box.
yeah. Make it like a, I don't know, Saturday morning thing, come down.
Well, you're doing it on the field, aren't you?
Well, that's the Jubilee, like what we said, you know,
Yeah.
but we could do it here as a separate event,
I think we should.
as a, you know, a community building thing,
I mean, it's just it's a bit like when that chap turned up with the plans for the new houses that were built down.
yeah, but
You
not
know.
just,
Yeah, but just to answer questions, because people will have questions.
yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a good,
We need to do it. We can't plan it until we know when the vote's going to be.
No, but we can do it before the vote.
Yes, it's got to be done before the
So
vote.
that we can find out and just talk to people.
Current case.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody else got any other business then?
I've got one. I were hoping to see more people here today, but I had to think about, this was made to build a new hall, community hall. I don't think I think if everybody is on board with that, I think everybody who comes on board or is on the committee, I'm from Yorkshire, so just hear me out. This is how I put it together. I'm a bit on thick side, but I put Clenchwarton Community Project. I would like to be on the community project with the purpose of building a new memorial hall and changing rooms, but placing the old ones on the sports field. At least that tells me that if people are against a building, then they should start their own group. I don't believe they should be on this group. This is to move forward. That would be my proposal in future for anybody who's on the committee or would like to join the committee. That would be my proposal going forward. Well, the sign. You shouldn't want to come on this committee just to try and not get it built.
That's to be positive.
It's got to be.
That's a positive, but you can't take it.
But I believe maybe some people might. All I'm saying is that's what I think.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. That's what I think it should happen.
And we can vote on
I think you're going to have to. I'd like to agenda item it for our next meeting.
Yeah.
Possible.
So if you've got to send that, what you've got.
Somebody needs to write it better than me,
Yeah.
because I'm not a writer.
No, but if you can get someone to write it, now to write it, or whatever.
She's from Yorkshire as well.
If you were to do that, would it be nice to...
I'll be honest with you, that bloke is good with words, because I would never think of that stuff you'd come up with.
And I absolutely think you're right, because there is no point in having a Clenchwarton Community Project Committee with a bunch of people who are against it. But that's not going to work at all, is it?
No.
Thank you.
Could you have it as a example?
Which shows I'm not here.
Say their piece. Say, this is
I got, Brian,
I
I've got no problem people saying the piece, yeah, and none at all. If you don't agree with something, by all means have your say, but you need to want to do.
everyone wants something.
Yeah.
It's just what that something is.
Well, it's not everybody. I don't think everybody is. I'm not going to mention names. It's not right, but I don't think everybody does want a new building. got own agendas, but that's for another meeting, because they're not here, and I would challenge them personally. All right? But I just think
some people who believe that the existing facility is good enough. There will always be some people who will be not in favour of that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, you know, the idea is to put it across positively and say that this is the benefit to the whole community.
totally agree. Totally agree. That's my opinion.
Can you get someone to write that up? Send it to me, I'll put it on there.
Hopefully I've got a new friend.
Yeah, Ellie.
Anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Anybody else got any other business? Do any of you two want to pick next time?
Oh,
Yeah? Okay, so you can email me,
Yeah.
and then just say why you want to come on, and then we'll get that sorted out.
You have to live in the village. So, really, just that you have a passion for the law. I don't think you have to live in the village.
I've had an email off Rachel on how the Alison to come on as well.
Right.
So,
Okay. Right.
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Meeting
Brilliant.
closed. Thank you.
I'll come to you after this.